Hello, Ethicomp 2020. This is Kai Kimpa, recording a presentation on my and Olli's behalf. The presentation is called Artificial Intelligence, How to Discuss About It in Ethics. The main problem in a lot of papers tend to be that there seems to be no good definition on what they are speaking when they speak about AI. So what are we talking about when we talk about it? If we do not define what we mean by AI, then the reader does not know what to take from the discussion. Often we just talk about AI as if it were clear what we mean by it. And then it becomes apparent that what the recipient of the information thought we were talking about was not it, or what is even worse, it does not become apparent even though they do not understand what we were saying. And of course, the worst case is that we don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about artificial intelligence. In this paper, we define 4 different main types of artificial intelligence, or things that people call artificial intelligence. Scripts, which look like they are artificial intelligence, often in computer games, for example. Data mining and data analysis, which is often referred to as artificial intelligence. Weak artificial intelligence and strong artificial intelligence. These are the kinds of artificial intelligence that we actually have now, such as neural networks, machine learning, mutating algorithms, and so forth. And finally, we talk a little bit about general artificial intelligence, such as Skynet or HAL or Ex Machina, or things like that. Scripts, as the first type, can seem smart, but are really not artificial intelligence at all. For example, in games, the artificial intelligence actually often cheats, and at best it is just a smartly done mathematical model rather than anything that could be considered artificial intelligence. It gives a certain level of illusion that it actually is thinking, for example, turns in the game, when it really isn't. Traditional algorithms, which mine large databases like those used by Amazon to create product proposals, are typically not artificial intelligence either. They sometimes seem quite smart in finding results, for example, product suggestions, but the algorithm behind them is typically quite traditional and do not use machine learning or other artificial intelligence related technologies. Now, what we actually do consider artificial intelligence starts from the weak and strong artificial intelligence. Weak artificial intelligence can learn from what it is taught and get better through various methods, but it is very specific in the tasks it can learn to do. It can learn to play games like Go, identify emotions, translate languages better and better once it learns, and typically methods such as training it actively are used. If we look at, for example, Google Translate, the system often asks for better translations for what it has given if it thinks that the person giving them. And once it has that, and once it has large enough variety of different kinds of translations, then it actually starts to learn from that and modify its behavior. It suggests different kind of translations than it did, say, a month ago or 2 months ago. Strong artificial intelligences are such as those used on cars, which have to respond to changing and surprising situations. They do not stay in a static environment, but the environment changes radically in the use of the artificial intelligence. Both of these technologies are what we call true black boxes. Even the designers do not really know what they do as they learn and change. At least the way they do things change. Sometimes they even change themselves if we're talking about mutating algorithms. Finally, general artificial intelligence is the last category. This we do not currently have, and it's questionable whether we ever will. But it is nonetheless prudent to consider what kind of things could happen once if we do. Whether these artificial intelligence are human-like, whether they are quite something different, but in any case, they could be considered to be able to answer surprising and new situations much more effectively than current strong AIs, which are still context dependent. They still have to answer these questions in a certain environment. This is especially important in cases where they have to make independent decisions, especially if it comes to things like warfare. And these will have some major issues that we need to solve, eventually at least, but it's good to be prepared. Thus, we suggest a two-stage model on evaluating artificial intelligence. First, are we actually talking about an artificial intelligence software, or are we talking about something else? You need to describe the artificial intelligence clearly, and so that the reader knows what you're talking about. And then secondly, are we talking about now, or near future, or far future, or science fiction? Tell the audience roughly the time frame that you expect these kind of solutions to become widely available, or at least available, so that we can have an understanding on whether it's AI and what kind of AI, if it is actual AI. The problem is that if we do not understand descriptive reality, we cannot make sensible normative evaluations. That's my presentation. Thank you, and see you in videos, and next year, I hope, in actual physical Ethicomp. Bye!